Missing children incident. 1985. Disappearances. It didn't happen at midnight, it happened during the day. Kids were lured by someone in a yellow spring suit. Friendly, familiar, the kind of mascot you're trained to trust. The pitch was small, a quick peek, a prize in the back, help with something only a special helper could do. Parents chatted, music played, a door shut. The back room wasn't on the map, no cameras, no reason for a child to be there unless someone invited them. By closing time, families were asking the same question with different voices. The answer was silence. What makes this case so brutal isn't just the loss, it's the method. Daylight safety used like a disguise. The brand itself became the bait, and the place that promised birthdays turned into a waiting room no one ever signed up for. Then the rumors started. Staff noticed odd behaviors in the suits, eyes that didn't sit right, movements that felt a little too alive. Prizes kept leaving the counter. The puppet seemed to be everywhere and nowhere, like a guardian searching for names it refused to forget. The 1985 disappearances are the fracture line in the whole series. After this, every laugh at Fazbear sounds a little forced, and every corridor looks like it's hiding a door. It's the moment a mascot stopped being a costume and became a question. But the next case isn't about a crowd. It's about one child, a locked door and a storm, and a guardian that arrived just a second too late. Charlie and the Puppet alleyway tragedy. It wasn't a hunt. It was a mistake no one could take back. During a storm, Charlie ends up outside the restaurant alone, locked out, the music still playing behind the door. The one machine built to keep her safe, the security puppet, isn't at the entrance where it should be. By the time it forces its box open and drags itself into the rain, the damage has already been done. The guardian reaches her, shivers, and goes still at her side. What makes this case so heavy is the nearness of safety. Help is 10 feet away and somehow unreachable. A latch, a box, a storm at the exact wrong minute. No villain speech, no theatrics, just a clock that chose the worst possible second. After that night, the mask changes. Black streaks stain the face like permanent tears, and something inside the puppet refuses to let the story end here. It searches, it remembers, it begins to give not prizes but life so that other children won't be left outside a door with no answer. That's the legacy of the alleyway, a protector born from failure, carrying a promise into every corner of the pizzeria. The tragedy doesn't vanish, it moves, and it moves with purpose. From a guardian that learned grief, we step into a different kind of danger, one that smiles, offers ice cream, and turns the room into a vault. Elizabeth and Circus Baby, the ice cream lure. She isn't chased, she's invited. Elizabeth wants the song, the balloons, the ice cream. Circus Baby is built to make that choice feel safe, polite voice, steady cadence, a mascot's patience. On the surface, it's a celebration. Under the plates, it's a mechanism. Here's how the trap works. The systems that sound helpful, child tracking, soft voice mimic, a showy treat routine, aren't for delight. They're for positioning. When the distance is right, the torso opens like an elevator door, and a metal hand does what a friendly face could never warn you about. No chase, no scream across a hallway, just a room that quietly becomes a vault. That's why this case hits harder than a jump scare. It uses trust as the key. A warning from a parent isn't a monster story anymore. It's an engineering note. And after it happens, the smallest detail haunts the eyes. What used to be baby's color shifts to a shade everyone recognizes, like a name spelled in the iris. From here, the voice that once coaxed a child closer starts guiding larger moves, whispers in a bunker, plans to wear a human body, a chorus of parts calling itself one thing. Baby isn't just an incident. She's a template. Kindness on the outside, custody underneath. But not every tragedy is planned. Sometimes it's a dare, a crowd and a jaw that closes at the worst possible second. The birthday disaster. Bite of 83. It wasn't a stalker in the hallway. It was a party. A group of kids teased the smallest one, the anxious brother who already hates the animatronics. Laughter, chanting, the kind of peer pressure that turns into a dare before any adult notices. They hoist him up toward Fredbear, just for a joke, and the stage lights make everything look safer than it is. Spring suits don't forgive mistakes. Movement, moisture, pressure. Get any of it wrong and the mechanism does what it's built to do. The jaw closes. The room drops into silence. What began as a prank becomes a headline no one wants to read. The child doesn't recover. This case is horrific because it's ordinary right up to the second it isn't. No mastermind, no plan, just cruelty, bad luck, and a machine that follows physics instead of feelings. After that day, fear stops being a mood and becomes an architecture. Doors to hold, closets to check, shadows that look like teeth even when they're not. That fear shapes the rest of the story. The nightmares feel like memories with edges, teeth too bright, colors too wrong, because the mind keeps replaying what it can't fix. And springlock stops being a mechanic in the manual and becomes the word everyone whispers when the room goes quiet. One disaster can be written off as chance. Two makes a pattern. Daytime suit incident, 1987. Disappearances. The solution was supposed to be technology. A new Freddys opens with glossy faces, and the toy line, wide eyes, bright paint, and a promise, facial recognition linked to a database. Parents feel safer. Staff follow the handbook. Cameras watch everything. Then the pattern returns. Someone in a yellow spring suit appears during the day with the same quiet approach. Friendly small talk, a quick favor in the back, a door that shouldn't be used. By closing time, families are asking for updates. The updates don't come. The tech that should have caught a bad actor gets outmaneuvered by the oldest trick in the building. Trust. The aftershock lands fast. During a daytime event, a guard is badly injured in the incident. Everyone labels 87. Headlines hit. Management shutters the location. The shiny toy models once marketed as safer are scrapped, and the brand pretends a reboot can erase what people remember. This case is horrific because it confirms a truth the series never lets you forget. Danger at Fazbear's doesn't hide in the dark. It hides in familiarity. Give it a crowd, a mascot, and a hallway the map says is fine, and the outcome can look exactly like 1985 with better lighting. The pattern sets the stage for what comes next. Not a crowd, not a prank. A single child in a spring suit that closes like a verdict. A slow ending that refuses to fade and grows into vengeance. Springlock slow burn. Cassidy theory. Not every ending is loud. Some are engineered to take their time. A child, often read as Cassidy, is placed into a springlock suit. Spring suits are unforgiving machines. A little sweat, a wrong breath, a shift in posture, and the mechanisms give way. There's no hallway sprint, no dramatic chase. The room stays ordinary while the inside of the suit turns against the person wearing it. That's what makes this case brutal. It's inevitable once the conditions are met. The closing isn't a snap, it's a verdict carried out by gears. Minutes stretch, help doesn't arrive, and when it's over, the suit looks the same to anyone passing by, except for the way it feels. Fans connect this child to Molten Freddy, the drained, slumped bear that doesn't walk so much as appear. You don't spot him approaching, you realize he's already in the room, a presence that bends the moment out of shape. Sometimes it's a flicker of text, it's me, like a finger tapping the glass between you and consequence. From that point on, vengeance doesn't look like a chase, it looks like a rule. The one who made this happen won't get to finish anything cleanly again. No fade to black, no final rest, just repeats. And the loop begins with a perfect mirror. The hunter puts on the mask. The lock fails. The safe room becomes a tomb. Afton's collapse minus karma in the safe room. He went there to erase evidence. He left as a warning. After hours, Afton slips into the safe room, the one space the cameras ignore. He's done this before. Lure an animatronic in, dismantle it, scatter the parts. Only tonight, the air in the doorway feels crowded. Shapes that don't belong to living people step out of the corners. He laughs because what else is there, and reaches for the tool he trusts most, a spring suit. Spring suits demand stillness, no sweat, no sharp moves. Panic gives you the opposite. The room fills with heat, footsteps and breathing, he can't slow. Metal agrees with physics, not hope. The locks fail. That's why this moment is so brutal. There's no speech, no bargain, no monologue where the villain explains everything. Just a mechanism doing what it always did, and a hunter caught by his own method. The door stays shut, the lights stay off. When it's over, there's only a shape on the floor and a story no one believes until much later when a horror attraction boasts that it found a real one. This is where Springtrap begins, not as a monster designed for fear, but as a consequence built by habit, a tomb with a heartbeat. We're leaving the locked room for a different prison, a hallway where sound is the key, the lights are down, and a ballerina hunts by proximity. Henry Emily's final plan, Mercy Byrne, he didn't open a restaurant. He set a stage for the last act. Henry Emily quietly launches Freddy Fazbear's pizza place. Cheap decor, discount lighting, a back alley that keeps finding salvage. One by one, the figures that refuse to rest show up. The tangled mass people call Molten Freddy, the shell meant to hold the puppet Lefty, Elizabeth's voice in new metal, and the thing wearing Afton's hunger like a uniform. The floor plan isn't for customers. It's a labyrinth. Vents, shutters, corridors that loop, designed to herd everything down. No flashy traps, no cartoonish devices, just a maze with no exit and a ceiling ready to come down when the time is right. Then the speakers click. Henry tells the truth no one else will say. This isn't a gift. This isn't a reunion. It's an ending. His words are calm, almost gentle, and they land like a door closing softly. He apologizes to his daughter. He asks the others to be still. He tells the oldest monster in the room that the darkest pit is ready and he won't be kept waiting. Sprinklers don't save legends. Fire does what fire does. Metal heats. Remnant stops pretending it can hold a shape forever. The rooms that used to echo with party music glow orange, and the keeper of this plan does the one thing nobody expects. He stays. That's what makes this case the hardest to watch. It isn't rage. It isn't spectacle. It's mercy with a cost. A father trading himself for the chance that the children finally get to leave. Not all of them need the same ending, but most of them need the same door. Henry gives it to them. After the flames, the timeline looks different. Some stories feel finished. Some refuse to be. But the message of the pizza place never changes. Sometimes the only way out is through. From a fire meant to free souls, we go to a place that treated people like parts. A quiet room under a house where a machine called the scooper did its work. Scooping room casualties, sister location. Not a pizzeria, a facility, quiet halls, numbered doors, cameras that never blink. Down here, the party masks are off. There's a parts and service bay, a gallery that listens for footsteps, and at the end, a white-tiled room with a single purpose, the scooping room. In a place built to smile at children, this machine speaks in diagrams, armatures, restraints, a timed discharge that takes what it wants and leaves the rest. That's what makes this case so chilling. There's no chase or dramatic reveal, only procedure. A tech follows steps, a machine follows steps. When the cycle finishes, someone doesn't go home. The facility absorbs the event the way a spreadsheet absorbs a number. Michael's run through this room is the piece everyone remembers. He's scooped, emptied in a way that should end anyone and somehow keeps moving as if the metal he spent weeks among refused to let him stop. That's the sister location logic in a single image. Identity is portable. Bodies are outfits. The chorus called Ennard uses that truth like a key. This isn't a crime of passion. It's a workflow, and that's why it lingers. When harm is scheduled, you don't hear screams, you hear an intercom and a door that hisses shut. From a lab that turns people into parts, we climb back to the surface, where a different kind of ending waits behind plywood walls and fake cobwebs. Fazbear's Fright fire, the attraction that burned overnight. They turned a crime scene into a theme. Fazbear's Fright wasn't built for birthdays. It was built to sell tickets on a dare plywood hallways. Recycled props, and rumor turned into decor. People lined up to be scared by a story their town never really understood. Then a call comes in. We found one, a real one, not a mannequin, not a shell, a body that still knows how to move. Michael signs on as the night guard with one goal: end it. The rooms creak, the monitors hiss, and somewhere in the walls, the thing that won't stop, Springtrap, keeps testing the distance between him and the exit. You can almost feel the plan forming in the hum of bad wiring. Overnight, the attraction burns. The headline says faulty electrics. The community nods and moves on. But anyone who knows this story hears the unsaid part: flame as a cleaner, flame as a key. The props go black, the plywood collapses, the past gets reduced to ash. What makes this case so disturbing isn't just the fire, it's the loop. How a place takes real grief, packages it for fun, and still can't keep the monster inside. Springtrap doesn't end there. He survives the smoke, proof that you can't quarantine a legend with drywall and stage fog. That blaze closes the curtain on the attraction but opens the door to everything that follows, the final gathers, the confessions over a PA, and the last rooms that needed to burn before anyone could rest. If there's one lesson in Fazbear's Longest Night, it's this. Control doesn't vanish when the party ends. It moves from suits to software, from rumors to rituals, and someone always pays the cost of catching up too late. Which case hit you hardest and why? Did we miss a tragedy that still keeps you thinking? Drop it in the comments. If you want the flip side next, we'll break down the most overlooked clues that expose these cases in the first place, and how the community pieced them together. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay curious, and don't ignore the quiet rooms.